The word Aravalli has originated from the Sanskrit language and can be broken down into two, Ara and Valley, which literally means the line of peaks. Wondering what's the length of this enormously large mountain range is? Aravalli, the story of a mountain range. A heated narrative happened to see on the mountain range explains as followed. The mounts which defined the northern margins of the landmass we call India, would have been the Aravalli mountain range. It took nearly 2 billion years, 3.2 to 1.2 billion years ago, of shoving and pushing of tectonic plates and magma outpourings to create these oldest fold mountains in the world. The Aravallis are the oldest fold mountains on Earth, older than the Himalayas. Since then, these mountains have endured millions of years of sustained assault of lava flows, submergence by seas, uplift by force of gushing magma from the depths of the earth, collision with landmasses and erosion by wind and rain. But the Aravallis now struggle to survive the greed, pettiness and the extreme short-sightedness of politicians and corporations after the historic Rajputs era. Starting from its south extent, the Aravallis begin their more than 692 kilometers expanse from Champaner and Palanpur in Gujarat as small denuded hills. The peaks reach their maximum height in the southwestern segment, with some rising more than 1,000 meter, like the 1,722 meter high Guru Shikhar near Mount Abu and hills around Udaipur. Begins to see from Champaner and Palanpur in Gujarat, India. The highest peak 1,722 meter, high Guru Shikhar near Mount Abu, Rajasthan, India. As we move north, the range begins to taper and the hills become modest. By the time the Aravallis reach Delhi, they get inundated under a swath of young alluvium, only rising occasionally as hillocks like the Raisina Hill, upon which rest the powerful government offices, the North and South Block. The northeastern part of the Aravallis upon which Delhi sits has an average elevation of 400 to 600 meter. But the range does not end there. It travels beyond, but this time under the ground right up to Haridwar, after which it disappears. Aravallis disappear after Hardwar at north. The solid, often impervious, underground rocks of the Aravallis make it a defining geologic and geographic feature. The hidden limb of the Aravallis that extends from Delhi to Haridwar creates a divide between the drainage of rivers of the Ganga and the Indus, Sindhu, to stay politically correct. The Aravallis are assembled over a very large province of granite called the Bundelkhand Craton. A craton is part of Earth's crust which has been stable for nearly 1 billion years or so, and gneiss pronounced gneiss, which is typically a hard, gray rock with long, white or gray ribbon-like bands. The gneiss and granite hills pop up east of Dungarpur, Udaipur, Nathdwara, Bhilwara and end close to Ajmer. Granite and all other stone mining is unorganized and is left to the mercy of unscrupulous leaseholders. The leaders include the historic Rajput too. They extract these gorgeous rocks until none is left, and desert the landscape gouged and ravaged. Each granite that is mined bears the name of the district, the color or an epithet like pale white poly, imperial pink gelore, marigold, sick yes sick, barmer, among others, and adorn homes, corporate, hotel and airport lobbies. Over the next several 100 million years, other rocks gradually assembled above and around this Gneissic province. These included new and younger varieties of granite, marble, quartzite, the dominant rock in Jaipur and Delhi, sandstone, rhyolite, a gorgeous smooth volcanic rock, among others. Point. The Aravallis provided the perch and the raw material for local feudal lords to create dynasties by building formidable forts and places of worship, and have contributed to the rich historical and cultural contour of the subcontinent's history. Fun. The heated narrator or any other person listened mentioned ever in modern history, who can incapable to organize the mining though worn out the Aravallis survive still.
As some people awaits an upcoming ice age, Aravalli tells some 750 million years ago. For example, a massive Malani volcanic eruption created the mesa upon which Jodhpur's Mehrangarh fort stands today. At that time, our planet was covered from pole to pole by ice, a condition which paleontologists christened snowball Earth. The copious lava flow from the Malani event was, perhaps, the first trigger to liberate Earth from the grip of ice and eventually led to the explosion of multicellular life on the planet.
The Aravalli Range is the tough end of a range of ancient folded mountains. The range rose in a Precambrian event called the Aravalli Delhi origin. The range joins two of the ancient segments that make up the Indian Craton: the Marwar segment to the northwest of the range, and the Bundelkhand segment to the southeast.
Aravalli were extremely high but since have worn down almost completely by millions of years of weathering, whereas the Himalayas, being young fold mountains, are still continuously rising. Aravalli, being the old fold mountains, have stopped growing higher due to the cessation of upward thrust caused by the stopping of movement of the tectonic plates in the Earth's crust below them. Cratons, generally found in the interiors of tectonic plates, or old and stable parts of the continental lithosphere that has remained relatively undeformed during the cycles of merging and rifting of continents. The natural history of the Aravalli Range dates back to times when the Indian Plate was separated from the Eurasian Plate by an ocean. The Proterozoic Aravalli Delhi orogenic belt in northwest India is similar to the younger Himalayan-type orogenic belts of the Mesozoic-Cenozoic era of the Phanerozoic in terms of component parts and appears to have passed through a near-orderly Wilson supercontinental cycle of events. The range rose in a Precambrian event called the Aravalli Delhi origin. The Aravalli Range is a northeast-southwest trending orogenic belt that is located in the northwestern part of Indian Peninsula. It is part of the Indian Shield that was formed from a series of cratonic collisions. Aravallis continue to have an impact upon the climate of northwest India and beyond. During monsoons, the mountain range gently guides the attenuated monsoon clouds eastwards towards Shimla and Nainital, thus helping nurture the sub-Himalayan rivers and feeding the North Indian plains. In the winter months, it protects the fertile alluvial river valleys, the Para-Indus and Gangetic, from the assault of cold westerly winds from Central Asia.
Situated amidst lush green, forested hills on the highest peak in the Aravalli range, Mount Abu is the summer capital for the Indian state of Rajasthan. Its cool and soothing climate makes it an ideal retreat.
The rocky terrain of the Aravalli Hills hosts tropical dry deciduous forests. Similar tree species are found in the Aravallis of Rajasthan and Haryana.